Hi friends, I am Josna. Today I am going to explain about the 10th class topic chemical reactions and equations. Actually, in this topic, in our daily life, we observe that one. So, what is that one? Milk is left at room temperature during summers, and iron tawa are left at exposed humid atmosphere, and grapes get fermented, and food is cooked. So, food gets digested in our body. We respire. These all are the changes. You know that. What about the physical changes? What about the chemical changes? Already you know the difference. So what is that? So physical changes what, chemical changes what. So in the above all situations, hmm, actually that physical and chemical, every reaction having a chemical equation, every reaction having a chemical equation. Actually in this lesson total 10 activities are there. So the first activity, magnesium ribbon burn in presence of oxygen, so it can be formed as a ash can be produced. So actually this is what type of change, chemical change. Okay, ash can be produced. Activity 2, lead nitrate react with potassium iodide to form lead iodide plus potassium nitrate. So two solutions if you take. So this is what type of reaction this is. So types of reactions also is there. Next one, displacement reaction. Actually zinc reacted with sulfuric acid to form zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas. That is the third activity. And zinc react with hydrochloric acid to form zinc chlorine plus H2 gas. So if you take a conical flask and take zinc granules, so if add sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid to form H2 gas. Actually we will take the dilute hydrochloric acid or dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, next one, activity 3 activities completed. Next activity, slaked lime is formed. How it is formed means calcium oxide react with water to form slaked lime. So that is the reaction. Actually what is the reaction? Types of reactions. So types of reactions, how many types of reactions? 4 types. So combination reaction and decomposition reaction, and next one, displacement reaction and double displacement reaction. Actually writing a chemical equation. So chemical equation, how we can write? So some rules are there. Left hand side reactants and right hand side products, and arrow marks, and add if we add 2 or more reactants, add plus symbol. If we add 2 or more products, add plus symbol. And upward arrow indication for upward arrow indication for gas, and downward arrow indication for precipitation. These are the rules. Catalyst we are used, and next one, temperature and pressure. So that is the rules for the chemical reaction. That is the rules. So these rules are applicable for the reactions. So at the same time that reaction, law of conservation of mass. So mass neither be created and nor be destroyed during the chemical equation, and that is the reaction. Actually in the first activity, what is the activity? The first activity, magnesium ribbon. Okay, magnesium ribbon rub with sandpaper, and at the same time, and after, why we are rubbing the sandpaper means that magnesium react with oxygen, so it is formed as a layer. So that's why. Next one, so that is the combination reaction, and lead nitrate we have taken. So that reaction can be formed as a lead nitrate, lead oxide. So lead nitrate, so that is formed, yellow color precipitate is formed. Next one, this is the decomposition reaction. In this decomposition reaction, iron sulfate crystals we have to taken into the test tube, and if we give the heat, rust can be produced. So this is the Fe2O3 is the rust formula, and sulfur dioxide and sulfur trioxide also produced. Actually so it is very careful about wafting towards the nose. So that is very dangerous smell. So that's why. So this is the decomposition reaction. So one is first one is the combination reaction example and completed. Next one, next one, this is a decomposition reaction. Actually, next one, another one more example, lead nitrate in presence of heat to form lead oxide plus four molecules of nitrogen dioxide and oxygen molecule. Actually, if we use heat, so that the decomposition is called thermal decomposition reaction. Next one, if we give the electrolysis method, so actually activity 1.7, it have already. So take one mug and take just two test tubes, so that activity is there. That is the electrolysis method. So this is electrolytical decomposition reaction. And I also take that silver chloride or silver bromide okay, in the presence of sunlight to formed as a it decomposes to silver and chlorine. So that is also decomposition reaction. That is photolytical decomposition reaction. Next one, how to balance a chemical equation. So how to balance a chemical equation? If you take one equation, for example, iron react with water to form Fe3O4 plus H2 gas. So in this equation, first of all, some steps are there. So step number 1, draw the boxes. Actually, first step number 1, draw the boxes. And step number 2, how many elements are there, how many are there. And step number 3, so maximum number of elements are there. So either products or reactants. So first balance the compound first, iron and for example here Fe, H, hydrogen and oxygen as there. How many are there? How many have more means oxygen? Four oxygens are there. So that's why we balance first oxygen. So after that we balance hydrogen, and after that iron. So like this, if we balance now, that finally we got the equation 3Fe plus 4H2O gives rise to Fe3O4 plus 4H2. These are the steps. Actually 6 or 7 steps are there. Okay, so first step, draw the boxes, and second step, how many elements are there and how many are there, just write here either reactants and products. And next one, third step, so which one is maximum? First maximum oxygen. If oxygen we balanced, so again that the number changes to hydrogen. Hydrogen also changed. So next balance hydrogen, and both completed na. So after that that finally iron. So 3 molecules of iron is there. So that's why we multiply with the that one with 3. So that's why. So finally we got the equation. So that's why in this way, so balance a chemical equations. So for example, one more example, if you take same actually in text questions, some examples are there. Barium chloride react with aluminum sulfate gives rise to barium sulfate plus aluminum chloride. So that is also one of the example for the balanced reaction. So that is given in that in text questions. Okay, barium chloride, and the same time hydrogen plus chlorine gives rise to hydrogen chloride. H2 plus Cl gives rise to HCl. So that is also. Next one, sodium plus water gives rise to sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. So this is barium chloride plus aluminum sulfate. So how can you know the formulas? So for example, aluminum sulfate is there. So already in the 9th class already learned that one. Crisscross method. So how to write the formulas? For example, aluminum valency plus 3 and sulfate valency plus 2. So if we crisscross like this now, so aluminum takes 2 and sulfate takes 3. So that's why Al2SO4 thrice. This is the balanced chemical reaction. Okay, so this completed. Next one, exothermic reaction and endothermic reactions also. If releases heat, if the reaction is going on releases heat, so that is the exothermic reaction. And if absorb heat means that is endothermic reaction. So actually that exothermic reactions, so many examples are there. For example, burning of natural gas, CH4 plus 2O2 gives rise to CO2 plus 2H2O, like this. Okay, so already before we discussed about 2 equations. Next one, displacement reaction. So what is displacement reaction? Already we discussed that one displacement too. So in the third activity we discussed, and one more example, copper Cu plus CuSO4 plus iron. Actually in the reactivity series order, and copper and iron comparing with this one, so iron is more reactive than copper, so that's why so iron displaces that one, so iron sulfate plus copper. And also some examples, zinc plus copper sulfate to form zinc sulfate and copper, and lead plus copper chloride to form lead chloride plus copper. So this is also is there. So that where the already this is the one of the activity. So how can the color can be changed? So copper sulfate blue color that changes to that faded green like that. So that is a reaction. Next one, double displacement. We are going to explain about double displacement reaction. In that double displacement reaction, already we explained about that activity 1.2. In that activity 1.2, so lead nitrate we have to taken into the solution in the test tube, the solution taken into the test tube, and another potassium iodide. If you take both can be mixed na, so yellow color precipitate is formed. So that is lead, the yellow color precipitate is formed. Okay, actually PbNO3 twice plus potassium iodide gives rise to PbI2 plus 2KNO3. So this is a double displacement reaction, and yellow color precipitate is formed. One more example, sodium sulfate react with barium chloride to form barium sulfate and sodium chloride. This is also double displacement reaction. Okay, the next topic is oxidation and reduction. So what is oxidation and what is reduction? Okay, actually oxidation, what is oxidation means, if a substance gains oxygen during a reaction, it is said to be oxidized. If a substance loses oxygen during a reaction, it is said to be reduced. Okay, so this is a reaction. So oxidation and reduction actually. So that is one. If you take both reactions are in the single equations, so that is called a redox reaction. Actually that one more time I will repeat. So if a substance gains oxygen during a reaction, it is said to be oxidized, and if a substance loses oxygen, it is said to be reduced. So this is a reduction process. And next one, redox reaction. What is redox reaction means? So one more example, actually we will explain about the examples. For example, copper plus oxygen, okay, so gives rise to copper oxide. Copper oxide, actually that copper oxide, so copper get to copper oxide, so that is oxidation reaction. Okay, so now the example for redox reaction, for example, if you take copper oxide, if you take, so copper oxide plus hydrogen H2 in presence of heat to form that redox reaction example, copper 2Cu plus O2 gives rise to 2CuO. So CuO plus H2 in presence of heat to form Cu plus H2O. So copper oxide gets reduced and H2 gets oxidized. So at the same time, zinc oxide plus carbon gives rise to Zn plus CO. So that is also redox reaction. And MnO2 plus 4HCl gives rise to MnCl2 plus 2H2O and chlorine. Next one, corrosion. What is corrosion? Actually that corrosion best example. So what is that means? So that rusting of iron articles, so that is the corrosion. And the black coating on silver, so and at the same time green coating on copper articles.